In this video, let's talk about what happened to Gray Zone Warfare. Gray Zone Warfare is a project that had all the eyeballs on it, all the hype behind it, and all of the goodwill of the people. Yet somehow it is not doing as good as I expected. So, what is going on with the project? Why is the player base the way it is? Well, without further intro yapping, let's get right to it and chat. I would guess most of you already know of Gray Zone Warfare or have heard about it. I would even go as far as saying that most of you even tried it out and played it when the game originally came out. But for those of you that do not know about Gray Zone Warfare or know very little, I'll give you a quick rundown. So, Gray Zone Warfare is made by a game company called Madfinger Games. Now, Madfinger Games, at least the three main devs, used to work in one of the biggest game studios in Czech Republic, and they decided to start their own company and walked out. They were aiming to do things their way and always focusing on the players. They took their years of experience working on AAA games, after developing many award-winning titles with more than 300 million downloads, decided to take the next big step and bring a new standard of quality, depth, and immersion to PC first-person shooters. And that's how Gray Zone Warfare was born. Now, Gray Zone Warfare itself is a realistic military extraction shooter, but with an open world, not like Tarkov. That is a PvE, PvP experience. They have both PvE and PvP exclusive servers. Well, not PvP exclusive, PvPvE. Personally, I would say it's a little bit of a survival game recipe, you know, the good old DayZ formula with really beautiful open world extraction gameplay loop and a very military simulation-like experience. To read the description straight off Steam, Gray Zone Warfare challenges you with the first open-world extraction shooter emphasizing realism. Deploy with a private military company, survive high-stakes PvEVP or PvE MMO battles against human operators and AI enemies. Unravel Lamang's island mysteries and thrive through hard-earned progress. I know from the title and thumbnail, I know it probably came off a little bit clickbaity, maybe negatively so, where some people might think that something bad happened to the project or the project isn't successful. You see, like I said in the intro, the game had all the hype behind it and everybody was excited for the game. Everything they put out, we all loved it. So the game itself actually is a huge success. When the game came out on Steam and was available to the public, a lot of streamers, of course, played it and a shit ton of people bought the game. So with everything I just said, some of you like myself might be wondering how come the player base is only what it is, which is the 2,000 players more or less. And now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the player base is small by any chance. 2,000 players is better than some AAA games did past year. Actually, community-wise, the game seems to be very healthy. It has 2,000 players playing it pretty much all the time. And it's not just, you know, the casual type of player base. These are the people that will be playing this game and only this game for the foreseeable future. So on one side, the player base is very healthy and so is the community. It's very devoted. They're all pretty cool. I've had all good experiences interacting with the community, but originally I expected this game to do better than 2,000 players. So my question is, despite all the people that were hyped from watching the trailers and the videos and everything they put out before release, all the people that bought the game and tried the game and played it when the game released, what happened that such a significant chunk of these people is not playing the game right now? Why isn't the player base much bigger? Because honestly, this game does deserve a bigger player base. This game is pretty much 10 out of 10 for me. I'm not going to be nitpicky in this video and just grab some little random things that might be annoying or might be a little issue. You know, just so people are not saying that I'm just glazing because I didn't mention anything negative. Because honestly, apart from like nitpicking, like I said, there's nothing in this game that I dislike or made me, you know, feel like it doesn't fit in the game or it would be better if the game was without it. Everything works together beautifully. It's the only game I've played in an extremely long ass time where I didn't have a single complaint for the past 3 days I've been playing it. You see, this game is one of the most beautiful looking games I have ever seen, and hands down has the most beautiful next gen foliage I have seen in any video game ever. I don't know what magic they pulled to have the foliage be as dense as it is and have the jungle be so dense that it is indistinguishable from reality. And when you walk through the depths of that jungle, it is absolute vibes. It's not only beautiful to look at, but such a unique experience to play and to do combat in a jungle that is that thick and dense with foliage and trees. It just honestly, mwah. 10 out of 10. Amazing work. Some people might have an issue with the PvP side of that because bush warfare can get a little hardcore, but the usual crowd for this type of game, which would be probably like DayZ and Tarkov people, I mean, if you see any of them complain about it, just call them out on being full of shit, because DayZ has bush Wookiees and Tarkov is all about rat-ass campers sitting in bushes. That's literally all the game is. So don't let nobody put you down or away from the game because there's loads of bushes that somebody might camp you in. At least this game has a mechanic that stops that. Just overall, generally, the game is beautiful. Everything looks amazing, from player characters to player animations, the first person animations of yourselves and the third person animations of other players that you see. The guns, oh my god. I'm not gonna cap. I think I like the guns and the look of them, the size, including the player arms and how you hold them, how you aim. I don't think I like guns in any other game more than I do in Gray Zone Warfare. They are sexy, okay? Sexy, man. They look so good and they feel so good to play with. The gun mechanics, the shooting stuff, the FPS stuff, you know, it's probably my favorite out of any game I've ever played. The recoil and how the guns feel to shoot, I love. It doesn't feel dog shit like it does in Tarkov to fire a gun. I can actually be confident in my ability as a player and my skill in aiming to get me through some fights and different situations. Apart from the fact that when you ADS, the gun doesn't snap exactly to the middle of your screen and then starts the swaying animation. It's always random where your reticle snaps. So if you're used to playing certain games like me, where initial snap when you ADS is perfectly center and you have this kind of like muscle memory from years of playing the game, where you kind of know where the center is and you kind of expect a reticle to appear in a certain spot when you ADS. So you kind of, you know, you just look at the enemy, you click and you expect him to be kind of there in front, but that often isn't the case. Your red dot will be a bit to the right, a bit to the left, a bit below or up. So that kind of messes me up, but that isn't really a problem. It could be a problem for fast reactions because you won't be as accurate with like your snap on aim, but that's, we're getting into sweat lord territory of just sweating PvP, so it's not really an issue. But yeah, the guns feel great to play, they look great, tons of attachments, all of them badass, everything looks goddamn badass. Their ADS, their point fire, the way you can use your tactical devices, kind of I don't know what the word is. It's like, you know, with canted sights, but you have your tactical device, your red dot, and you can aim with like kind of point fire-ish, but you're aiming with your laser. It's just sick for clearing buildings, and especially nighttime gameplay, clearing buildings with your laser and using that different, I guess, type of ADS. Awesome, amazing. Like I said, just playing the game, using the weaponry is such a joy. It is so fun. And it's, to me personally, better than any other FPS I ever played. I would love to play more games with this exact gunplay as a base. Just give me a DayZ-like zombie survival shooter, Gray Zone Warfare mechanics, gameplay, everything. Honestly, even the goddamn map. Just give me a mod for Gray Zone to switch out AI for zombies, I guess. Now, the health mechanics in this game are a bit hardcore. Ah, what? In agony from a little bit of barbed wire. It might be overwhelming for some, but also really, really unique to experience and play. I honestly like them. I don't have any problems with it. It's extremely realistic, so it can get a bit hardcore in certain situations. you know, with you getting shot and having different status effects, and you know, when somebody shoots at you, they have like this suppression mechanic that makes the screen basically blurry and you can't really aim well. So it can be a little bit punishing and unforgiving, but that is honestly part of the joy of the game. It is part of that military sim-like experience and not more of an arcadey casual type of gameplay. Now, mentioning the loot, so to me, it did feel a bit odd at the beginning to not be finding stuff the way I would in other games and looting the way I would in other games. But honestly, this is also, I guess, part of the difference. I feel like it's more about the op than the looting, grinding for money type of thing, if that makes sense. It's more about getting with your buddies, gearing up, getting in a badass heli, flying to the point for whatever task you're doing, or if you're just going around trying to PvP, and you know, executing the operation tactically and without a focus on having to, you know, I guess survive. So, you know, it's more about staying in the loop of being an operator and going out doing missions than going out and looting for survival, if that makes sense. I feel like that is a very fresh breath of air for this type of game, where I can actually focus more on just killing AI and killing players and doing my tasks, and I don't really have to go into every building I come across to find loot, right? Because if I don't do that, I'll probably run out of ammo, I'll run out of money for gear, and I'll be basically broke and screwed. You don't have that pressure of needing to find valuables in order to keep yourself alive and your money up. I think me and everybody else loves this. It is the coolest thing ever, and one of the biggest selling points for this game was the heli ride. The fact that I'm in my base, I call a heli, I do a badass heli ride to my mission location. They have all these cool routes through the jungle. The heli takes you. It is beautiful, beautiful way to travel across the map. But there is one issue that people used to have with that, and that is land zone camping. What the fuck?
Hurry up and get in.
Who's shooting at me?
Ready up, we're taking off.
What a piece of shit, man. Or just LZ camping. You see, before there were some issues where players would camp the LZs, wait for enemy faction players to come to the LZ, and as they get off the helicopter, they would get sprayed down and killed. That is a very sucky issue. But from my personal experience, I've known that the devs have been working hard to sort that out and been implementing ways to stop people from LZ camping. And personally, I haven't been LZ camped even once. Correction, I have been LZ camped on one of the days I played, but that wasn't just like the community or the players. It was just one guy that was a stream sniper in my stream, in my chat, that just, you know, was pretending to talk to me, but in reality, he was just stream sniping me. Now I'm scared, bro. I can't believe he actually hit me with that, man. This is a problem, dude. Maybe I should just spam bushes. And he tried to kill me multiple times. Thank God he is ass.
Spread out.
Thank you for your contribution to my cause. Something in Russian, you're dog shit. And he missed pretty much all his shots, so every time I managed to hop on the heli and get the hell out of there. But yeah, that was the only case of LZ camping I've run into. Otherwise, I haven't encountered anybody just sitting at OZs waiting for people. So I don't think that is really a problem right now. So after all this praise and glazing I've done to the game, you guys might now have the same question as me. What did happen to Gray Zone Warfare? Why is the player base only at 2k when it probably should be around 10k, maybe even 20? Honestly, I would expect that from how good this game is. And I don't really have an answer. I cannot tell you why. I really don't know. I really don't know. Maybe some of you guys can share some ideas why you think the game isn't bigger and more popular than it is right now. When it comes to me, I can think of one thing, I guess. Some of the community members have been telling me they think that it is due to performance, that the game isn't optimized enough, therefore a lot of people just can't play it, which I guess I see it. I have a decent build for my PC and I get around 80 to 100 frames, even 120 and 30 in some locations, but certain locations, the worst one, the lower it dips to is like 80. 90 average across towns and about 100 to 120 across the wilderness. Like I said, I know I have a good PC, but those numbers don't shout to me badly optimized game, especially since I'm playing on like max settings. And yes, the game does require FSR or DLSS to pull these frames, but with how the game looks, the amount of detail in the environment, the amount of foliage, the fact that it's just graphically 10 out of 10, I feel like the average 90 to 120 frames isn't actually bad. So even though there's people telling me that performance is what's holding the player base back, is it though? Is it really that bad for other people? Maybe, I don't know, maybe Gray Zone Warfare just likes my AMD rig. I have a better experience than most. I don't know. I really don't know. The only other thing I can think of personally is from when the game released and there was a bunch of streamers that I enjoy playing it. I remember some of the, I guess, Tarkov side of the crowd complained about lack of PvP, that the game was too PvE focused, which right now to me seems kind of like a bunch of bullshit. Because yeah, don't get me wrong, the starter town is mostly PvE, but it doesn't take forever to get past it and go to the other locations and start running into PvP, and you can seek out purposely PvP by going to locations closer to your enemy faction's base. So I don't really understand. Maybe it wasn't the lack of PvP, but the bush warfare? Because I remember watching HMF, one of my faves, play the game, and they did have an interaction around the bunker area where they were fighting, and that was before they implemented the mechanic with the flies buzzing whenever there's a dude camping in like a bush, you know, or behind a tree. There were PvP cancer situations where, you know, guy would just sit in the bush, not move, not make a squeak. You get bored because, you know, you're not that lame where you can now sit half an hour in a bush waiting. I can't do that shit. It takes me about 33 seconds before I give up and I have to start moving around because I guess ADHD or some shit. So yeah, I saw it. Like, you know, Hatch would move, the guy would spray him from a bush and there's nothing you can do because there was no way to even spot the guy. So maybe that was one of the reasons people had like a, oh, it's a PvE game, not really PvP game. And maybe that's why a bunch of people got put off and don't play the game. I don't really see it at this point. I feel like, yeah, there is a heavy PvE focus, but if you want to focus on PvP, you can get all the PvP you want. You can find players quite easily. I've actually constantly run into other players after I finish the starter town, and I've been avoiding half of them, and the other half I brutally moided. That's right. That's right. I mean, yeah, whatever. So yeah, I don't get it. Why is the player base for Gray Zone Warfare at 2k and not something like 10 or 20k? I don't know. Maybe some of you have some insights and can give me some thoughts and opinions why you feel like the game isn't and where it should be player base wise, or maybe you think it is where it should be and you don't feel the same about the game as I do. I don't know. Make sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the situation and the player base. Also, let me know what you think about the game overall. How much do you like it and enjoy it? And also tell me the things that you don't like about the game. Unlike me, maybe you think there is a bunch of stuff in the game that doesn't suit your play style or just the gameplay loop that you are looking for. And, you know, maybe those one or two things just kind of ruin the game for you. Apart from that, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure you smash that like button. It will help me out a lot. I do need some goddamn love to get this channel going. Like I said, let me know what the hell you're thinking in those comments. Yap about anything, honestly, also helpful. And if you enjoyed the video and would like me to make more Gray-Zone Warfare content, which I 100% plan to because I'm addicted to this game at the moment and I'm going to be grinding it. If you want to see that, you can go to iChronoTV on Twitch, okay? Watch me live. So that would be all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
君の虜になってしまえばきっとこの夏は充実